Good morning. I am Patty Elhoff. I am the author of Upcycle with Decoupage. Today we're going to be upcycling, or just making it pretty, one of these plain iPhone cases that you can buy. I didn't get this in the dollar store. I got it in one of those stores where it was $5. You can do any kind of pattern you want. One suggestion: get a color that is going to complement or match whatever you want to decoupage on here, because I am not going to decoupage this rubber part. We're going to take that out and just decoupage the plastic part. And I am doing a black and white print. You can also use napkins. You can also use wrapping paper. Here's what we're going to need for this today. Paper of your choice, and you can work with scrapbook paper if you'd like, napkins, or wrapping paper. If you're working with napkins, you would want to have a mist of fine water near you, and when you lay the napkin down, use the fine mist and some plastic. I have other videos, saran wrap, I'm sorry, I have other videos telling you how to decoupage with napkins. Decoupage glue. You'll want to have a couple of sponge brushes. I have one of these thin small artist brushes just in case I needed a file. I'm going to need an old credit card, regular scissors for paper. I'm going to have a small pair on hand. These are decoupage scissors. I am using some embellishments from the scrapbook department in the craft store. And then I'm going to use a spray-on top coat. Here's what we're going to do to get started. This case comes apart. I'm sorry, one other thing I forgot to mention: shallow dish of water. This case comes apart, and this rubber piece, I'm just going to leave that out. Put this back together. Once you have this back together, cut out this piece that you are, whether it's wrapping paper or a copy that you have. You want to cut it out to make sure that it takes up the most of the back. And remember, you're going to cut some holes out for some important features here. And then just cut out basically the size that you need. Then we're going to add decoupage glue to the surface where we're going to put our paper. You're going to dip your paper in the shallow water, drip it off a little bit, get that excess off of there. Place it right over the area that you want to decoupage. You can see I'm moving it around a little bit too. That's another benefit of wetting the paper. If it's crooked, you have a little bit of time to play around here, and you can move this. I'm going to gently take a credit card, whatever card you're using, and press it down. This will get any excess glue or air bubbles out from under there. Wrap it over the side. Here's where those scissors are going to come in handy. I just tore that a little bit, which is okay. And for the time being, we're just going to let this piece dry. I have that overlapped on the top there because when it dries I am going to cut it, but you see there's an opening right there. So for now I just want to let it dry this way. Now that this is dry, this is where I would use the nail file. Ideally you would wrap this around here and file it on the inside here, so you've still got a little bit of the print left over here. And this top part that I took off is going to be used, I'll decoupage it right here, and a little piece down at the bottom, and then let that side dry. Now to get into these small areas here where it will be hard to file and hard to tear, you don't want to mess up some of your work, that's where these smaller scissors will come in. And everyone may not own a pair of decoupage scissors, but if you have that really small pair of manicuring scissors, I believe that's what these are, right? They're for a manicure. They're tiny, they're curved. They get in there just as well. But for little spots like this, you're going to want to cut out this little bit. I wanted everything to dry before we went and poked holes in it because the paper's actually a little bit stronger now. If you were to poke the holes while it's wet, sometimes that works, but sometimes it just continues to tear or it pulls your other work away. So now that the paper is sturdy and it's dry, it's got that extra coat of decoupage glue on it for that large opening. I'll just cut in a star shape. Fold that in. So you've now got that opening, these openings. Same thing, you've got openings here and here you just want to poke a hole through. This is all dry. We're going to add some more decoupage glue and actually add a little bit on the inside here, which is where this little brush may come in handy because you're just going to work in a small area and that sponge brush could be a little clunky or awkward. You can just wet the brush a tiny bit, dip it in the decoupage glue, and go under these areas, go around this area, because you're going to decoupage those ends down. Same with these sides. As soon as we're done with these openings, we're going to add one more coat of decoupage glue over the whole piece. Let it dry, and then we'll come back and do the next step. It's okay to use your fingers in here, by the way, to press this down. It's pretty sturdy now. And you'll see that that makes it stick right down to the plastic. You may want to take the tip of your tiny scissors for your volume. Here are the holes that are there, and push those in. It looks like I'm going to need something even smaller. When it's dry, you can see in very, very bright light, you can see the line where you're going to need to score to separate this. And the reason I did this all together is because I tried to do it with the pieces separated, and this back piece, it's just so small and there's so many little holes and half holes that it was much more efficient to do it this way. So once that second coat of decoupage glue dries, you could just score this. You need a very sharp scissor or knife. Score right along the lines where this comes apart. Don't necessarily mean that you're gouging through the paper. There's just a slight indentation there. Then you can separate it. It looks a little messy. Don't be too alarmed. These edges that it leaves, you can file off what you don't need. At this stage, you want to put your top coat on, and I let you know I was going to do a spray top coat and then add the embellishments. So I have 2 coats of decoupage glue on here. I'm going to file and cut some of these little excess pieces off that I don't need. I'm going to go outside because I'm using a spray, add the top coat, and then I'm going to come back and add the embellishments. Now that the top coat is dry and I've snapped it back together, I didn't put this rubber piece in there yet because it's going to get all flimsy and I want to have a solid piece together. It looks a little sloppy on the inside there, but once you put the rubber piece back on the inside, and even once you put your iPhone in there, you're not going to see any of that. Any spots on the outside that you're not wild about, you can put a little embellishment there. And they're already sticky. If you want to keep it forever, the glue, the E6000 glue, will keep it on there for as long as you want. And then some, because even when you want to take it off, you can't. That's how strong that E6000 is. But I am just putting this on with the adhesive that it comes with. And even on the front, I'm going to put just a little bit of an embellishment on a side. Press it down, whoops, and maybe a little up there on the side. And one other thing, if you are working with a manicure and you find that the decoupage glue gets on your nails and your fingertips, only when you're completely done with the project, put some olive oil on your hands and fingers. You may want to take your rings off. Rub it in pretty thoroughly. It's really, really healthy for your hands and your skin. And then take some soap, lotion, the lotion type of soap, hand soap, and warm water, and I always add a little baking soda, and it takes everything right off. And here are completed iPhone case.